6 months ago, Sheffeild Wednesday pulled off one of the greatest footballing comebacks in history against Peterborough. But fast forward to now, they sit rock bottom of the table, meaning they're the worst championship club. And on top of that, the club owners actually asking the fans to raise money for the team. That just shows you what kind of turmoil this club is actually in. But today, boys, we change that. I am becoming the new Sheffeild Wednesday manager with the ultimate goal of making them the best team in the world. But because the owner's such a cheapskate, there's only one way to do this. No transfers, no youth academy, no scouting system. I'm only allowed to sign free agents. So this is the Sheffeild Wednesday team I've loaded into, and Jesus Christ, this team is a mess. The first thing going against us is we've got 5 players on loan to us who are actually some of our strongest players, and we all know that we can only sign free agents, so we can't do a damn thing about this. And what makes it worse, majority of our best players are actually some of the oldest players we've got. So not only have we taken over the worst team in the championship, we've taken over probably the worst ran team in the championship as well. Now we do have Deshaun Bernard, who's 68 overall, a very young player as well, but one good player out of an entire squad, that isn't a good sign. Like I said, boys, this team is an absolute mess. Well, the first thing I'm doing is changing the formation to a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow formation. There's no wingers in this entire team, and more importantly, it's not a 5 at the back formation. As for the tactical vision, I'm not too sure what to go for just yet. I'm going to get the transfer window out the way first, see what the team's looking like, and then go from there. And obviously, because we're only using free agents, that means every single one of these players is getting released from the club. Now, a lot of you keep saying that youth academy players should count as free agents, but the fact that they're called youth academy players makes them not free agents, so I'm going to get rid of them entirely. But some good news at last, we've got 7 million in the budget, meaning we can definitely put that money to good use. But this time, boys, there's only one rule I've got to follow. I can't make any free agent signings higher rated than my best player. And Barry Bannon is our highest rated player at 72 overall, which means I cannot purchase any player above that overall. And let's be honest, boys, when you take a look at this starting 11, that is not the news we needed to hear right now. We are barely going to be lucky to survive the championship. We need a new goalkeeper, the defense needs sorting out, or 2 better strikers. This entire team pretty much just needs replacing. And with 7 million in the budget, I reckon we've got a maximum of 5 signings this season in it, and we've got to make sure we make the most of them. Now, our first signing is going to be Almos Ali. He's only 26 years old, and to be fair to him, for a 71 rated player, his stats are pretty decent. Now, our next signing is going to be Horvath. He's only 21 years old. He's 64 overall, and if I remember right from FIFA 23, this guy turned into an absolute monster for us. But I'm really happy with this next signing, Marko Stamenic. He's 21, he's 70 overall, he's got some bloody good stats, he'll fit right into this team. And now the team is looking a little bit better after those 3 transfers. We haven't made massive improvements, but we're slowly starting to build the team up. But we still have 5 million in our budget. I thought it'd cost us way more than that. We can make some more transfers. So I restarted by signing Ahmed Raider Tegnauti. He's 27, a half decent goalkeeper to go in between the sticks. I also signed Adam Lang, who's 72 overall, he's 30 years old, he'll do us for at least 2 seasons. And finally, I signed Homam Ahmed, he's 23, he's 68 rated, potentially could get us into the Premier League in a couple of seasons' time. And this is the starting 11 going into season 1, and amazingly, I reckon we might do pretty well now first year in charge of this squad. And as for the tactical vision, I'm going for the tiki-taka style of play. We need Sheffeild Wednesday to be playing pretty good football, and this is the way to do it. Now, I'm realistic. I know for a fact we're getting nowhere near the playoffs this year, and to be honest, I don't want to. All I want this team to do is massively improve in overall. Remember, we can only sign free agents as higher rated as our best player, so the higher rated our best player is, the better the players we can bring in for the next season. And to be fair, considering how this team are doing in real life, I don't think it's going to be difficult to beat that in season 1. So boys, season 1 is done, and we are 16th at the end of this campaign, a total of 15 points above the drop zone. Considering how poorly they're doing in real life, this is a massive W. We actually made it to round 5 of the FA Cup as well. That isn't bad at all. But we literally made it to round 1 of the Carabao Cup. You know what? That's standard procedure at this point, isn't it? But looking at this starting 11, as you can see, boys, there's been a lot of improvement in this squad. But our highest rated player is Marko Stamenic, who's 75 rated, meaning a 75 rated player for next season is the highest rated player we can go for. And to be fair, considering where we finished, the stats aren't actually that bad. We can only go up from here. All I wanted from season 1 was for the starting 11 to grow, and that's exactly what they've done. But we've definitely got to make some big improvements to this team, man, especially if in the next couple of seasons we want to get promotion. But before we go any further, if you enjoyed the video so far and want to see more content like this, leave this video a big old like and smash that subscribe button. So it's now time for season 2 of Sheffeild Wednesday, and we've got 19 million in the budget. Yeah, I find this very very unlikely considering what's going on in real life with them. Now, looking at this starting 11, it's obvious that it's improved from last year, but we need to improve it even more. I want to end this transfer window with everybody in this starting 11 at least 70 overall or above. Except for our attacker midfielder Horvath, he's only 22 years old. I want to give this guy a little bit more time to show us what he can do. But as for our right back and two centre midfielders, I'm going to do my utmost best to make sure that those positions are improved. But right now, Marko Stamenic is our highest rated player, meaning we can't bring any free agents into this team that are higher rated than 75. But we struck gold with the right back position. Matthew Murray, he's a Spanish right back. He's only 24, he's 73 overall. That is a massive improvement on our back four already. And I found a pretty solid striker in Benito Raman. He's 29, he's 71 overall, but for his overall, those stats are actually pretty damn good. And with our right back and striker now completely improved, we just need to be lucky enough to find two midfielders. And it just so happens I found two midfielders, Adalberto Carrasquilla, who's 72 overall and 25 years old, and Jordi Cortizo, who's 28 years old, 75 overall, and this guy looks really goddamn good. His stats look absolutely fantastic. And with those two midfielders now signed for Sheffield Wednesday, the team now looks like this going into season 2, and I think we're in for a much better season. One player I'm keeping my eye on though is Horvath. He's 67 overall, right now the worst player in the team, but he's also the youngest player in the team, so I've got to give this guy a chance to prove to me why he belongs in the squad. But all things considered, boys, from last year to now, this team has massively improved, and I reckon we're going to get a much better finish than we did last year. So season 2 is done and dusted, and we finished 7th in the league, man. 7 points outside the playoffs. That is a massive step in the right direction. I'm not saying we're going to, but maybe season 3 is the year we get into the Premier League. But we only made it to round 3 of the FA Cup, and we only made it to round 1 of the Carabao Cup, so we're back to square one with how we do normally in domestic competitions. And just look at the starting 11. Everybody's happy, everybody's looking good, and more importantly, everybody's improved. And Marko Stamenic is our highest rated player, 80 overall, which means the highest rated free agent we can bring in next year is 80 overall. Boys, if we don't get promoted next season, there's something wrong. But considering we finished 7th in the league, these stats, I'll be real, boys, they are absolutely shocking. But brushing the stats aside for a second, the team has massively improved, and we finished 7th in the championship, man. It's just been W after W. And with us being able to bring in much better players into this team next year, there's no reason at all why we can't get promotion. So we're now into our 3rd year in charge of Sheffield Wednesday. We've got 25 million to spend. We must have new owners or something. And when you look at the team, let's be real, boys, it is so much better than what we started with in season 1. I'm especially happy with Horvath. He's 71 overall, 23 years old. He may potentially be our endgame attacking midfielder. Now, last year we finished just outside the playoffs, so if we can improve the team just that little bit more this year, I absolutely believe we'll get in the playoffs and may potentially get promotion. And remember, because Marko Stamenic is 80 overall and our highest rated player, that means we can bring in players 80 overall or under that. And with 25 million in the budget, we could legitimately bring in as many free agent signings as we want. Now, I'm starting this transfer window up by bringing in Abdul Karim Badaki. I've definitely got that name wrong, but all I know is he's a damn good player and will massively improve our defense. I've also found 22-year-old Italian striker Sebastiano Esposito. He's 74 overall. Maybe he could be the striker to bag us a lot of goals this year. And with those two signings alone, I think we have already massively improved the team this year. But we still got 23 million for goodness sake. Let's have another deep dive into the free agents list to see who we can find. And I only managed to find 2 pretty solid players. The first one being Keith John, however, he's a right back from the Netherlands. He's 23 years old and 72 overall. And we have Chumi, a centre back from Spain. He's 26, he's 74 overall. He'll definitely fit right in at Sheffield Wednesday. And with those 2 players now officially signed for us, the team now looks like this going into season 3. And I definitely feel like this is our year to get into the Prem. But we do still have Horvath in the team. Now, I've kept him in this squad because last year he massively improved from 67 to 71. So hopefully he can do the exact same this year. But one way or the other, boys, I absolutely believe this team is going to get us promotion to the Premier League this season. So season 3 is done and dusted, and we are in the playoffs alongside Luton Town, Burnley and Preston North End. What did I tell you, boys? We are one step closer to that promotion we're after. Oh, well, that didn't last long. We got knocked out by bloody Burnley in the semi-finals. How are we still in the championship after 3 goddamn seasons? Well, this time we did at least make it to round 3 of the FA Cup, and we once again crash out of the Carabao Cup in round 1. I genuinely feel like the Champions League is easier to win than the Carabao Cup in FC24. Now, I'm not being funny. I know we haven't got the best team in the world, but surely honest to God, this team is good enough to get promotion to the Prem. In dynamic potential, it's hit Marco Steminic like a ton of bricks. 84 overall, and he's only 24 years old, for goodness sake. Next season, we can pretty much buy whoever we want. And to be fair, our strikers knew where that goal was this year. 21 goals apiece for both of them. I can't lie though, guys, the fact that we're going to go into season 4 still in the championship, I mean, that's never even happened to me before. We need to get some luck next year, man. We need to seriously improve this team and make sure without a shadow of a doubt we get promotion to the Prem. So we're now into our 4th year with Sheffield Wednesday, and we are still sitting in the championship. I mean, we've got to get out of this league, man. It's got to happen this year. And obviously, a lot of our players are on international duty, but I know exactly where I want to improve this team. If I can, I want to improve this back line. I want a better centre midfielder, and I think it's time we bring in a better cam than Horvath. I've given this guy enough time. He's 73 overall, the weakest link in the team, and I think if we get somebody better, we may stand a great chance of getting promotion. And we've got 37 million in the budget. At this point, man, the owners are just teasing me with this money, knowing I can't bloody spend it. Now, I've just spent the past 15 minutes going through the free agents list, and I found 3 players that surely to God will get us promotion. The first one being Mexican fullback Julian Araujo, only 24 years old, 79 overall, got some fantastic stats to go with it too. I've also found Sebastian Bornau, a very solid centre-back, 80 overall for a championship defender. I mean, you can't get much better than that. And my personal favourite, Alessandro Tavares, he's only 17 years old, 79 overall. I'm not sure if this is someone's regen or he's someone's pre-gen. All I know is he's going straight into our team. And with all 3 of those free agents now signed for Sheffield Wednesday, the team now looks like this going into season 4, and I swear to God, if we don't get promotion this year, there's something wrong. Now granted, I did want a better midfielder than Karis Keeler, but he's 75 overall. He should surely get the job done in the championship. But boys, not only do I want promotion this time, I want automatic promotion. This team is way too good not to get it. And that is exactly what we've done, boys. 2nd in the championship, 1 point from winning the championship entirely, but the most important thing is we are finally in the Premier League next year. It's taken us long enough to do it, 4 seasons in total, but you know what, we bloody did it in the end. We also made it to round 3 of the FA Cup. And we once again got knocked out of the Carabao Cup in round 1. I swear, this has got to be some sort of record. Have we literally been knocked out of the Carabao Cup in round 1 4 seasons in a row? But you know what? I don't care, because look at the state of this team, man. I'm not being funny. When we get to the Premier League next year, we may actually do pretty damn well in it. And Marco Stamenic is still our best player, 87 overall. So I think it's safe to say that no matter what going forward, I think we can bring in whoever we want. And considering we finished 2nd in the league, these stats aren't really anything to shout and scream about. But the most important thing to take from this season, we are finally in the Premier League. And normally I'd be looking at the team worried about where I've got to improve it and if we're going to survive it, but I think we're very going to comfortably survive it, and I actually think we'll get a mid-table finish. So boys, it's now season 5 with Sheffield Wednesday, and as you can see, it's official, we are finally in the Premier League. And whilst it does have its weaknesses, the fact that this team is this strong going into its first season in the Prem is a massive advantage. Obviously we could do with a better goalkeeper and maybe a right back, a couple of centre midfielders, a striker, but other than that, I'm very happy with how this team looks. And we've got 69 million to spend this year, man. I bet Sheffield Wednesday fans watching this are laughing at how unrealistic this actually is. Now, I've once again looked all over the free agents list to find players, but I've only found 3 I can actually bring into the team. The first one being right back Emilio Aguirre. He's 78 overall, 19 years old. I mean, I don't know whose regen this is, maybe Danny Carvajal, but I know for a fact he's going into the team. I've also found 30-year-old Danny Ceballos, who's already got a ton of Premier League experience, and that'll definitely bode well for the team. And finally, I found Andre Silva, 80 overall. Granted, he's 31 years old, but he's a short-term solution to a long-term problem. And after making those 3 players Sheffield Wednesday players, this is how the team looks going into season 5. And honestly, I reckon a top 10 finish is on the horizon. I know we should be aiming for survival or mid-table at best, but the state of this team right now, I honestly wouldn't put it past them to get a top 10 finish. Maybe even European football, you never bloody know. Okay, maybe I got a little bit overzealous. We finished 11th in the Premier League, but you know what? That's still an incredible finish for our first season back in it. And to be fair, we were only 14 points outside the top 6, so it's not exactly out the question to think about getting European football next year. But we once again only made it to round 3 of the FA Cup. And this time we made it to round 2 of the Carabao Cup. I mean, that's progression at least. But looking at the team itself, everybody looks happy, and for the most part, majority of the team's actually really improved. Esposito's now 84 rated. I mean every single person in this team has pulled their weight. And Stamenic is our highest rated player at 89 overall. I think now I'm just not going to bother showing you this because I can't see me finding a free agent higher rated than 89. But once again, the stats really aren't anything to shout out about. I mean, Tavares and Esposito did run the show this year though. But for our first season in the Prem, I think we've done absolutely brilliant. A mid-table finish and we're not far off the top 6. But if we're lucky enough to improve the positions we need to, I genuinely feel like we'll get top 6 football for next season. So we're now into our 6th year in charge of Sheffield Wednesday, and as you can see, I have been very busy with the coaching system. They're probably a massive reason why the team right now is as good as it is, so make sure you don't neglect this. Well, speaking of the team, I think if we want to take it to the next level, there's just a couple of positions we really need to try and find free agents for. We need a better striker than Silva to partner up with Esposito. I mean, he's going down in overall, it just makes sense to replace him. I also think we need a better keeper than Dignauti. He's entering his 30s, he's 80 overall, he's been fantastic for us since we brought him into the team, but now it's time to bring somebody better in. And we need a better centre-back than Abdul Karim Badaki. He's 33 years old now, he's 78 overall, it just makes sense to improve this position. I think if we manage to bring in free agent players for all these positions, we've absolutely got European football in the bag this year. And to rub salt into the wounds, we've got 107 million to spend. Yeah, that's a bit of a tough pill to swallow. But I've once again looked at the free agents list, and once again I've only managed to find 3 free agents I can actually bring into the team. The first one being goalkeeper Andre Lunin. He's almost 30 years old, but he's 81 overall, and he's got that Real Madrid experience he'll bring to the squad. I've also found striker Pierre Simon, only 17 years old. His market value is 64.5 million. We've got to bring him to the team. But my personal favourite is centre-back Emil Bakker, only 20 years old, 85 overall, and yes, I can confirm this is Virgil van Dijk's reject. I think bringing these 3 into the team will be a game changer, and they will absolutely help us get European football for season 7. And now the squad looks like this going into season 6, and with the new additions to the team, honestly boys, this squad looks so goddamn good. Don't get me wrong, I'm not blind to the fact that there's improvements that do need to be made, but when you compare this team to last year's team, this team is miles better. So we've just arrived at the end of season 6, and we've got Champions League football for season 7, second in the league, only 6 points behind the Premier League champions United. But honestly, I don't care about the Premier League title. We finished second. That for me is as good as winning the Premier League. And we actually made it to round 5 of the FA Cup this time. You know what? I'll definitely take that considering how badly we've been doing in this competition. But we've actually won the Carabao Cup, beating Chelsea 4-2 in the final. I don't know why I'm so happy about that. I'm a Chelsea fan. I really need to get myself checked. But honestly, boys, I'm not surprised. Just look at the state of this team, man. Everybody's happy, and it looks like everybody's bloody improved as well. And to be fair, the stats do look pretty good. Pierre Simon gained 21 and 11 and 19 and 6 for Alessandro Tavares. But boys, we've finally done it. We've earned our way into the Champions League competition, man. I'm so goddamn happy we finally done it. And as good as this team is right now, I don't think it's good enough to win the competition just yet. We do need to make some big improvements in a couple of positions. So this is the start of season 7, and I'm not wasting any time. We're getting straight into the transfers. Boys, we needed 2 centre midfielders, and I found 2 centre midfielders. The first one being Matheus Nunes, a Manchester City player. It is unbelievable how lucky we got with this one. He is 30 years old, which may be the reason he was let go as a free agent, but he's 83 overall. He will be a massive improvement in our midfield. But like I said, I found 2 midfielders, and you ain't gonna believe who this next one is. I found Brazilian Andre Santos. He's only 25, 84 overall already. I believe he's a Chelsea player in real life, but right now he's about to become a Sheffield Wednesday player. And after searching for ages in the free agents list, I'm going to leave the transfer window there. And honestly, boys, it's beginning to wind me up a bit. As much as I absolutely love how the starting 11 looks, I can't find any players to put into the suspension, man. No players in the free agents list are as good as the players we've already got there. I know I've said multiple times I don't think squad depth is important this year, but that's not the point. I want to bloody improve the team. But it does look like this is the team going into season 7, and I'll be real with you lot, I think it's a fantastic squad. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we're going to win the competition, but I think we'll do a lot better now that we've got Santos and Nunes in the team. But speaking of the Champions League, we're in Group G alongside PSG, RB Leipzig and FC Midtjylland. I mean, they call it Group G, I call it the group of bloody death. But regardless of who's in this group, I want to get out of the group. I don't want to come all this way with Sheffield Wednesday, get to our first Champions League and get knocked out in the group stage. Now season 7 is done and dusted, and we've won the Premier League by 9 goddamn points in the end. Last season we finished second, this season we finished the job and we we won the title. And you know what's mental? Looking at the table, I can't find Spurs. Where? Oh my god, where are Spurs? Oh my god. Spurs finished 15th, Liverpool finished 14th, Chelsea finished 9th. What the bloody hell's going on? Then again, I'm not complaining at Spurs finishing 15th. But this time we only made it to round 4 of the FA Cup. And we also made it to round 4 of the Carabao Cup. It looks like that domestic cup look that we had last year completely ran out this year. But the one you've been waiting for, how have we done in the Champions League? So we started off by getting through to the round of 16 ourselves, and PSG absolutely wiped the floor with this group. We went on to absolutely dismantle Juve in the round of 16 as well, 5-2 on aggregate. And we also just got past Real Madrid in the quarters, 3-2 on aggregate. That is massive. Union Berlin, PSG and Bayern Munich all left. Oh, God's sake, watch us get matched up against PSG in the semi-final. It wasn't PSG, it was Bayern Munich, but we beat them regardless in the semis, 3-2 on aggregate, and we faced PSG in the final. This is kind of poetic. We were in the same group as them. They topped that group, but now we have to top them to win the Champions League. And these stats are the best they've ever been, man. Our two strikers and central attacker midfielder all getting over 20 goals. And this is the starting 11 going into the final. And honestly, boys, when you properly look at that team, I'm not surprised we won the Premier League and got to the Champions League final. Now, up to this point, we've only won the Carabao Cup and the Premier League. And you know what? For Sheffield Wednesday with free agents only, that isn't bad. But now we've got the chance to win the biggest trophy you can win at club level, the Champions League. PSG coming forward early in the first half. That's a fantastic defensive block. Raul's on the ball now. Our left back showing everybody how it's done. Oh, Saliba is not as fast as Raul. I do not care what anybody says. Santos is on the ball. I'm looking for that run. I see that run. Look at that. Esposito's through. Surely this is 1-0 to us. And it is. Donnarumma stands no chance. We make it 1-0 inside the half-hour mark. That's a beautiful ball through. Esposito is onside. Theo Hernandez is doing everything he can to distract him, to put him off, but it doesn't matter because Esposito's got the composure and he puts us 1-0 off. But PSG are coming back with a vengeance. Look at this. And oh, no. Oh, what a save from Lunin. Now it's our turn to attack. We've got Aguirre on the ball on the right-hand side of the pitch. Look at this from him. He's found Nunez. Nunez, he's looking for that run. Can we? Oh, that's definitely not who I was after. But Santos is definitely away. He could put us 2-0 up here. Oh, come on. Here we come again. Aguirre is the main man. Look at this. This is beautiful play. This is really nice play. Aguirre is away on the right-hand side once again. Can whip a ball in back post. Nope. This is beautiful. Oh, come on. We need a second goal to kill the game. Santos is on the ball now. He's going into that. That's beautiful. Tavares is on the ball now. He's got everything he needs. He's one of the best players in the world. Oh, that's beautiful. 2-0. There we go. With 15 minutes left on the clock, we basically put the nail in the coffin for PSG's chances to get back into this match, and we put ourselves 2-0 up. Beautiful work on the left-hand side. Tavares finds our man on the inside, Pierre Simon, I do believe, and that is us one step closer to lifting that Champions League title. But we could have a third goal by the end of this match, boys. Look at him go on the right hand side of the pitch, whip this ball in, to no avail in the end. Oh wait, what? What's that? No way, is that a handball? Is that a handball for a penalty? I think it is. Theo Hernandez. Does it? Oh, it does, you know. That is a penalty. And you know what? I'm going to give this to the man who I believe was with us in Season 1, Stamenic. Our best player, most consistent player. Can he get us the third goal in the Champions League? And he can. He put the absolute nail in the coffin for this game. We have won the Champions League. And there is the full-time whistle. Sheffield Wednesday 3, Paris Saint-Germain 0. We have absolutely dominated the French giants of football, and we have made Sheffield Wednesday the best team in the world only using free agents. It took us long enough though. We spent about 4 seasons in the Championship, 7 seasons in total it took us to do this, but as always, we bloody did it. And if you enjoyed this video, you should click here because I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy this one as well.